At Bibby Financial Services, our mission is to be the partner of choice for SMEs where they're looking for specialist finance. We have a range of products in the UK across FX, invoice finance, asset finance, and invoice finance across Europe and Asia. We're very much a business that starts with the understanding of our target customers. We are very good with dealing with complex situations, and we really care about kind of doing the right thing for the customers and addressing the right needs, not being one size fits all, very much blending the technology with a human touch, because we understand that SMEs on the whole, and specifically our target customers, have complex needs and need a balanced interaction. At the moment, globally, SMEs are facing huge amount of challenges. We've spent lots of time in the summer speaking to about almost 2,000 SMEs. We've got a big report which kind of give us insight as to the main challenges that SMEs are facing. Something like 42% of people that we spoke with, so SMEs we spoke with, said that the current situation in 2023 is actually harder for them than during COVID. And almost a third were talking about how they're facing more challenges now than in the wake of the financial crisis. So they're talking about challenges across the supply chain, very high interest rates, inflation, overall the slowing down, or just the hard grind of doing business. Very practically, a very large part of them are experiencing bad debt. Their own customers are ending up insolvent, there's dispute, and overall their customers are taking longer to pay. So the cost of doing business ever it is very, very challenging. And adding to that the fact that we've observed, and they're sharing with us as well, that lots of the big banks are retrenching for serving the more kind of complex situations. So, and I guess that's where we come in very much so, because we have the expertise to understand what the gray areas, the more complicated stories, to then provide the funding that they're not having. So not only the overall global economic context is challenging, but some of the traditional players that would come and help in that time are actually withdrawing. So that's creating a larger gap. And at Bibby Financial Services, our expertise is in those contexts where you've got to understand the customer, their debtor, the history, the overall kind of context, and be able to provide that funding. And that takes experience. And we've been around for decades. We're a family business, so we kind of understand the reality of running business. We understand the ups and downs of multiple cycles. We've been around for more than 5 years, and we've got the ability to step in and provide more funding that they would have had, or even provide funding at all, where in some many instances SMEs just wouldn't have anybody to turn to. Collaboration in the SME funding space is critical, is really, really important. So we're not a tech company. We've got very much a buy, not build approach to how we develop offerings, how we improve the customer experience. And so to take new things to market or improve the experience we deliver for our customers, we very much partner with third parties. We also partner with introducers and people who will bring us, I guess, our customers in the first place. And we're looking also to play with other third parties to be present at the point of need. We recognize that our customers, SMEs, have got multiple pain points, multiple challenges and needs. We can't address all of these, but we want to be able to then give them options. So we want to very much build on the relationship that we have with SMEs and then connect them to an ecosystem of other players that can address adjacent needs. So we're in constant conversations with other organizations, in the funding space or in the SME servicing space to kind of join forces and just be more efficient for SMEs. So what's on the horizon for SMEs and how the world of funding is changing for them? There's a couple of things I've mentioned, but I think overall getting access to funding is more of a challenge. We've definitely seen this from the conversations we've had with SMEs. Banks are less willing to take the risk that they used to. We're also seeing on the more kind of fintech side that actually some of these that we came out with brilliant looking offering and all that jazz type digital offerings actually are being challenged to actually survive through the cycle. So we're seeing that more SMEs will need the funding just to keep going and not just to grow. So there's probably more kind of that evolution for a core need on a day-to-day basis without wanting to kind of give equity away. Obviously, AI plays a big role in kind of shaping funding options tomorrow. However, that's not very much kind of hot the price, and there's already AI embedded across financial services for a while. It's very much at the core of big platforms like Microsoft Dynamics. So many things behind the scenes are AI. But we are seeing that there's lots of opportunities to build that into credit decisioning. In our space, though, and I have talked a lot about the more complex scenarios, you can't rely just on AI to really understand a case. And something that I'm passionate about is closing the gender funding gap, or looking at kind of more of the marginalized groups. And if we're using data for AI models for credit decisioning that aren't checked by a human, that aren't kind of rebalanced, then we're going to keep going with those. We're going to keep those biases being perpetuated. So I think there's lots of good opportunities from a tech perspective. This morning we talked about embedded finance. Absolutely something that we're looking into as more players are integrated each other to address more needs and make the overall experience for SMEs much easier. There is still a need for that counterbalance in the kind of the human touch and the human check and balances. And obviously that's also something that the regulators are looking into when, using AI.